going to do another Lucky Wiggler for you. And this one is going to demonstrate yet another little variation in stacking and creating these color patterns and things that we like to do on these flies. And this tail, this is white with, I got some red hackle and some white hackle in here in the hackle collar. Let me pull a tail here for you. There's the tail before I tied it down, and it's just got all the same elements. And it's got the rubber hackle. It's got all the same elements in it that the other ones have. It's just different colors of stuff. So let's go ahead and start this one. This is kind of, this is one of my favorite color patterns. I tend to fish the more natural colored ones a little more often, but I do enjoy these bright ones, and they do catch fish. They will catch fish. They follow a little bit more traditional. If you go to some like old plugs, like I've got a bunch of my grandfather's old plugs, and sometimes you know, they have the red heads on them, and that's what this one's going to end up being. So let's start as we always do. We'll take a bunch of hair, you know, measure it back to about the bend of the hook. We'll lay it in here, 45-degree angle, roll it to the bottom of the hook shank and flare it in place. Okay, now we're going to take another bunch, and this is white belly hair. You can see the tips are not quite as nice as on the flank hair, but they'll work for this pattern. So let's put another bunch of hair on here. So I'm going to measure this back to the bend of the hook, lay it on here, come in here and flare it in place. Then I'm going to add another bunch on top of it just so I have a nice hair collar there to work with when I go to trim it. One more bunch with my stacker. Lay that in there, come in, flare it in place, and now you can see I got a nice bunch of hair there for a hackle collar. So let's go ahead and, I don't know if we'll get a lot of compression on this one, but we'll give it a go and see what we can get out of it. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's bring my thread forward a little bit. Let's come back and get another bunch of white. And we'll take this one and we will, 1, 2, 3, third one's going to roll it right to the bottom of the hook shank, put my thumb on it, and flare it in place. Then I'm going to put another bunch of white on the top. So let's flare that. All right, now I'm going to get a little bit of black and put it on top. Just like that. So you can see that black spot on top. So normally what we think about is we'll put our finger in the center of this bunch, put some another color in it, and let this black become a ring. And we can do that. That's a great pattern. And believe me, the fish don't care which way you do this. But there's another interesting little technique, and that is if you take your black hair and you kind of push it back, bring it all back like that. Try to get as much of it as you can. If you leave a few strays, it's not a big deal. Now I'm going to bring my thread just in front of that bunch and drop it in there. And you notice that bunch has now kind of been separated to the back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take just a little kind of dun colored hair and I'm going to put it right in front of that black. Just like this. Now we'll push all that back, and what that will do, I'm going to go ahead and get my half hitches in there. What that's going to do is that's going to create, instead of a ring, it's going to create kind of a little black bar at the back of my stack, at the back of my spot. Let's go ahead and compress that. Good. Let's come forward, and we're just going to kind of repeat that pattern. Third one, bring it to the bottom, flare it. I forgot my glue last time, so I'm going to add some glue this time. You don't have to tie these, you don't have to put the glue in them. They do, I think, probably make them a little more durable. Okay, let's take my white. Lay it right in here, kind of at a 45. Capture that bunch. You want to try to capture it in the middle of the bunch. And then flare it in place. Now I'm going to repeat that. Get a little bit of black here. Flare it. Kind of pull that hair back. Put my thumb on it there. Let's get it back a little more. There we go. Put my thumb on it and get just one wrap of thread right in front of it, just like that. Now let's come and get my gray, my dun colored hair. There we go. Come in, put my half hitch in here. And then pack it. Just like that. Okay, now, this will be kind of an interesting pattern on top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here I'm going to switch over to my red, because I'm going to make this a red head. The colors really pop on this one, which are kind of fun colors. Once again, the fish don't care, okay? They don't care. They just soon eat a plain old colored one as anything. But these are fun to put in your box and to show people. And I do like the little different technique with the stacking there. So we'll rotate that to the bottom. Oops, I caught a few white hairs there. Let's see if I can get them out of there before I flare it in place. Sometimes that happens to all of us. All right, that's good enough. I didn't quite get them all, but I got enough of them. Let's Flare it in place down there in the bottom. Let's add a little bit of glue in there just to make the pattern a little more durable. Yeah, I think I may just add just a touch of red to the top. Keep in mind, this is going to be that little diving bill, so I'm going to cut pretty deep into it, so I don't know that I need the extra hair, but I'll just add a little bit of red to the top, just to have a little more hair to work with. Now let's go ahead and pack it back here. Come in, do my half hitches. And come in with my packing tool, and yeah, I got quite a bit of movement that time. All right, I've got a little more hook shank there than I need. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know, see if I can get that into camera. Yeah, there you can kind of see it. Pull it back. There, I guess you can kind of see it a little bit there. It's a little more than I want for the head of my fly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a little red hair, just a little tiny bit. And this is a bit of a tricky one out here in front, but you got to be able to do this to kind of adjust your length. You know, you don't always grab exactly the right amount of hair to absolutely end at the perfect place. Sometimes I do, but more often than not, I have to adjust at the end. So what I did is I took that little bunch, rotated it to the bottom of the hook shank, I flared it, and then I took this little bunch, and I'm going to lay it right in on top. Now I've got to come and catch that eye of that hook, and then flare it right in place, right on top. Now I'll come back, stack it back, come forward, and let's get my half hitches in there. Kind of do one more little stack here. Yeah, there we go. Now I've got just about exactly the amount I want for a thread head at the front of this fly. So let's go ahead and let's add my Zap-A-Gap to my thread, just like always. One more. There we go. And we'll give it one more pack. Now, couple things here. We can look around. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's a little hard to see, but that second bunch of red hair I put on kind of slid to that side a little bit. And it's going to look a little better balanced if I can bring that back around to the top. So let me grab my tweezers here. So now take a look at the head, and I want to make sure I've got stuff balanced out. So I'm going to hold this back one. This red, the second red clump I did kind of slid that way a little bit. I want to bring it back up here to the top. And it's hard to see. You can just kind of see what in a width, the width of the fly. But I could see that there was more hair over there, so I'm going to kind of rotate this back around and balance it out. Now I look at how much hair, look at it from each side, and it's looking reasonably balanced there. Let's see. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these two spots I put in here, and I'm going to adjust those so they're sitting right up on top. I want them right on top of the fly. And I can adjust this stuff at this stage. It's before I go ahead and I pack or I trim it that you want to do this. And so now normally with these, once I kind of adjust them and have them where I want them, I let them sit, because remember I put a few little bits of the glue, the Fly-Rite cement, at the base of the hair, and then that'll have that opportunity to kind of cure, and then these stacks will be a little more tightly in place. So anyway, that's kind of where I'll leave it for now. But let's go ahead and we're going to trim this fly out and take a look at those patterns we put in and see what they look like.